Okay. Okay, let's begin. Om Gurave Nama. 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 Okay, everyone. Welcome back. So we were doing last time. I think we finished Venus, didn't we? Um, does anybody remember?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So we did Venus, and I think we need to do the Saturn, right? We didn't do Saturn, did we? No. Okay,
No,
so we'll
no.
do it with examples, and then we are going to add a few more things. Like what we are going to see is a few chart examples, as well as from each house how the Karakamsha is placed in the Rashi chart, in the Navamsha chart, and the most important thing which you will have to get used to of doing, and it is the most one of the key things that you have to look out for, is you have to take the Navamsha, the Atmakaraka and the Navamsha, which is nothing but the Karakamsha, right? We all know that, right? So from the Karakamsha, we are going to see where the Navamsha Lagna is placed, or from the Navamsha Lagna, we see where the Karakamsha is placed. Both, obviously, if we are seeing one, we are seeing the other as well. Yeah, because that's a very, very important one. It has a very specific significance of how it is from each planet. Yeah, sorry, each from the each Navamsha Lagna. Is everybody okay with that? Is everybody clear what I'm talking about? Yeah. So literally, you bring the Atmakaraka in the D9 chart, and you see how it is placed vis-a-vis the Navamsha Lagna. Okay, simple. Okay, but meanwhile, let's move forward with the Saturn Atmakaraka. Now, the Saturn Atmakaraka is thin and long bodied, is yellow eyed, vata natured, large tooth, indolent, lame, having coarse hair, or twice born. This is from the BPHS, the nature and form of grahas. Now, this is quite important because people who have the Saturn as Atmakaraka, they will carry some of these characteristics, and as well as they will have that extra benefit of having some of the key issues that they will deal with. It's almost like a common script running through each planet, so it's like unites as per their karmic scripts and their karma relating to that planet. So for example, all Saturn Atmakarakas will have some amount of suffering and sorrow, as well as they may have to even undertake other people's stuff on board. Now, often what that means is that it's very difficult because like I mentioned, that planets which are malefic by nature, are tamasic by nature, have a very sort of spiritually challenging time. But eventually, when they find their path, they will make a rapid spiritual progress. So these people will have to contend with their own sorrows, and often you may find that people with Saturn Atmakaraka, other people's sorrows, the other people will put their own negativity and sorrows onto these people, and then these people will be really despondent, and they may not even realize what's going on. But they have to realize that it is not specifically their sorrows. They are attracting those kind of people, and there are lessons to be learned from these. Now, their job is to be able to be attuned and have the compassion, and not have the coldness which often Saturn, as a graha, imparts, because Saturn is incredibly cold, and and the Vayu Tattva, that is the air element, is very strong in Saturn. So these people, it's like quite dry and cold as a planet. And even if you see the astronomy of Saturn, it's a very cold, very dry. It's like the astronomy of Saturn has a sheet of ice surrounding it, so that gives you a lot of clues as to what the nature of this planet is. They have a deep sense of despondency and sickness issues. They will, Saturn Atmakaraka will have some amount of health related issues, but after a while they will have to kind of learn to ignore it. Yeah. Someone's haven't put them off their I think it's like a kind of like a stuck thing that's coming through. Yeah. So anyway, so please switch off your mics, please. That will help a lot. So so coming back to, so Saturn Atmakaraka people have a definitive sort of karma to do regards other people's sorrows and things like that. And it also shows a sthira mind. They have to be like Saturn, very very, Saturn is slow moving, slowest moving in the outer pantheon of planets, and so they have to be like super slow in terms of like and have the forbearance and patience just as Shani has. And they need to be able to look everybody's sadness in the face of it, and even their own sadness, which they will have some kind of deep sorrow, as well as a health related issue, until they learn to just kind of bypass it and forget about it and ignore it, and then things will start to change. But they have to reach that stage. And the one thing these people have to really bear in mind is good luck will come only after they have some kind of social service to communities at large. Because remember, Shani is a karaka for people at large, for communities at large, for the common man, for the working class people. So Shani is very strong there. So you have to be in service of something, like the elderly donate to the old, or and the sick. And but donation doesn't mean like just throwing money at the problem. It also means actually volunteering, doing some kind of concrete voluntary service. So for example, if you're like a consultant, then maybe like every once in a while go and do like a pro bono thing, for some people, and engage with them, so their some of their problems are resolved or alleviated. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. So let's move to the Rahu Atmakaraka, with which we will end the whole series. So with Rahu, and then we'll see a few examples after. So with Rahu Atmakaraka, the thing with Rahu is he has smoky appearance with blue mix and physique. He resides in forests and is horrible. Obviously, he's windy temperament, just as is Shani. The Vayu Tattva is very strong, and he's intelligent, and Ketu is akin to Rahu. But Ketu, in terms of the appearance, may also carry this characteristics, but he is certainly not akin to Rahu in terms of temperament and Vata, because Ketu's dosha is Pitta, because it's predominantly a fiery graha, and versus Rahu, which is very strong in Vayu Tattva. So remember, we went through this particular tattvas about Rahu, Shani, and Mercury up till a point, being very strong in the tattva for air. So you have to kind of balance it out. Mercury is an exception. Mercury goes both ways. Mercury can be Vayu as well as it can be it is predominantly Prithvi tattva, but it can also go into Prithvi's earth element, and it can also go into the Vayu aspect of it. But Ketu is certainly like a laser beam. It's very, very fiery. Agni is very strong in Ketu. And the boundaries are going to be a big issue with Rahu Atmakaraka, and avoid Machiavellian tendencies, manipulations, intrigue. They will be very attracted to politics. Anybody with Rahu Amatya Karaka, 100% they will join politics. Boris Johnson and a lot of others. Check some of the politicians' charts. I think, what's her name? Joe Biden has Amatya Karaka as Rahu, as well as Kamala Harris. They both, I think, I'm pretty sure, have Rahu as their Amatya Karaka, because they will make, because, it's like pulling wool over people's eyes. It comes very naturally when Rahu is your Amatya Karaka. Please note Amatya Karaka, not Atmakaraka, because with Amatya Karaka, that's your career, so you can get away with a few things like politics, where the truth is often sort of debatable. But with Atmakaraka, you have to be very authentic. So Rahu Atmakaraka, the issues of all the internal mechanism of manipulations and all of that will come to the surface. So even if you manage to indulge in those kind, because you will have those tendencies, but they will eventually will be done away with as you progress in your spiritual path. And the other thing with Rahu Atmakaraka people are, often they will be cheated quite a lot. Yeah, they will almost certainly be cheated. They will be sort of conned out of some kind of financial stuff, or all those are kind of in keeping with the Rahu Atmakaraka themes, but they are not allowed to be cheat back. It's almost karmic, because if you do get cheated, especially Rahu Atmakaraka, then you have to understand that karmically you have to kind of like, it's done away. The deed is gone, done. The debts, the rin has been paid off. So that is a fantastic thing. Yeah. Is everybody clear on that? Yeah. So, and often these people will be attracted to, because bear in mind, Rahu and Ketu both up till a point rule foreign things, boundaries, governments, foreign governments, foreign dignitaries. Ketu is more like a soldier, while Rahu has got so many heads. He's constantly thinking. Astrology, it comes under the domain of Rahu, and up till a point even Ketu is mathematics, so astronomical mathematics, the maths side of astronomy and astrology is very strongly linked to Ketu. But then they both are up till a point rule sort of preside over the domain of Jyotish and things like that. But Ketu, because it is very strong Agni, you see, anything with Agni will have a very strong penchant for astrology, because especially Jyotish, because Jyotish is Agni. And Rahu, the other thing with Rahu Atmakaraka people is often their lives life, because Rahu rules sudden shocks, and it's like, oh my god, what happened, and it's like a really deep shocks at a very deep level. So people who have Rahu Atmakaraka, they will go through some shocking experiences as well. You have to really watch out for that. And they will also have to sort of contend with foreign issues, foreigners. They will almost always cross boundaries and limits. If you have Rahu Vargottama, fantastic. There is no limit to what, you will literally cross all sort of limits. And in terms of your spiritual path, even, you will attain a very high level of spiritual sort of import with Rahu Atmakaraka, especially if it is Vargotama, because Vargotama adds a lot of weightage. If your Atmakaraka is Vargotama, that is very strong. But for good or evil, or that it remains to be seen what house it rules and what house it is in. But for all purposes, it is extremely um, powerful. In terms, it's very strong. Okay. The other thing you also have to watch out for as Rahu, as a Atmakaraka, is that often these people's lives are a little bit chaotic, and it's like travel, and they'll end up doing like several things, because remember, Rahu has got many heads. So when you have many heads, you have many things that you can do, and thoughts and stuff like that. So that is in keeping with the Rahu as Atmakaraka. So any questions so far?
Yeah, so now I have a short question, but it's
Yes.
about Saturn. Is it okay? So Hard Defoe in his book says that Saturn rules India and ancient things. What is your opinion about it?
Sorry, seven rules what?
Saturn rules India and ancient things.
Are you talking numerologically?
No, just as a planet.
We've
Does it?
already done the Vedic, like grahas. Seven is, if we, are you talking of in terms of grahas you're talking about?
Saturn, yes, Saturn, yes. I mean Saturn, the planet.
So,
Shani.
okay, so seven rules what?
No,
Sorry.
no, not seven, but Shani. Shani rules India and ancient things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the context is, but yeah, of course. I mean, anything karmic and is Shani's domain. So you'll have to be quite specific as to why seven is ruled by.
No, not seven, but Saturn. Shani, Shani.
Oh, so Shani rules, India is ruled by Shani, is it?
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's probably because India is, if you see the chart of India, it is Taurus Lagna. And maybe is that from that, what context is he talking about? See, the thing with Shani is, it's like this, you see. If we go back to the chart here, Shani is nothing but he is linked very quite a lot with Brahma. Now, Brahma is a creator. He's a Ka, right? He is a sort of, he presides over all sorts of creation. He's the overseer, as we have already seen. He's the overseer of all the all the Vedas, all the four core principal Vedas. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and Shani also rules Tapar Loka. And after Tapar Loka, it is, I think it's, I'm quite sure it's Satya Loka, right? So, and in Tapar Loka, everybody is doing penances and things like that. It's like one of those higher lokas, higher worlds as you go up. We've done that before in the past few,
Yeah, it's
webinars.
okay. Just okay. The context is just you say that Rahu rules astrology. That's why I asked about Shani. That is the context, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, okay, from that point of view, so you're saying that Shani rule, yeah, of course, Shani, anything old is ruled by Shani. If that's so, oh, that's simple. Anything old is ruled by Shani. So you see, of course, then from that point of view, I mean, the whole of the Vedic knowledge is one of the oldest in on the planet. There is no other knowledge that is older than the Vedas, and there is no other language. I mean, I know the in Hungary they believe the Hungarian language is linked with Sanskrit, and they believe it has more number. I think it's got some kind of 60 alphabet scheme and all that, but still it doesn't come close to in terms of its structure and in terms of the solidity and the ancient wisdom, where Sanskrit is so methodical, so mathematical, and so sacred. It comes nowhere near, and that is why it has survived for so long. So from that point of view, if you take like something that is so old and it has survived across like thousands of years, yeah, so from that point of view, if you take, sure, Shani is rules all things. So if, for example, if your moon is opposite Shani, right? Sorry, Shani is opposite the moon. You will love living in old houses, ancient, like, gorgeous, like 200-year-old period houses and all that. So that is very strong with Shani, ruling everything that is old. The other thing is in your D4 chart. D4 is a chart for the divisional chart for property, and for seeing properties and all that, you look at the D4. And in D4, if Shani is aspecting the fourth, and we have methods of figuring out how many properties and all that, if Shani is somewhere around and involved in that, then you will have a very nice old beautiful kind of a property, a period property. So yeah, so from that point of view, of course, Shani is a karaka for everything that is old and ancient shastras and all that. So yeah, I think from that point of view, is that why does that help?
Yes, it did. Of course, it helped a lot. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
so I'm sorry,
Yeah.
there is some noise, in the background.
I
And
know. I don't know who is that. Thank you for pointing out. Um, yeah, it stopped now. So,
yeah, thank you.
okay. Okay. Lovely. Let's move to, oops, let me remove that. Uh, okay, one sec. Sorry. It's going crazy. Okay. If we move, if you see, let's do this example chart. You can unmute yourself. This is Valentino. We all know about Valentino, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Valentino is basically one of the great designers, pretty self-made. He's still alive, believe it or not. I was like Googling him and I thought he is passed away, but he's like 89.
Well, it's got Saturn in the 8th.
He's got what?
Saturn in the 8th in Capricorn, so it's still around.
Very clever. Very clever. Well spotted, Margarita, very well spotted. You see, the thing with Saturn is it is the Ayush Karaka. Shani is like the Ayush Karaka. And for Gemini Lagnas, Shani in the 8th house will provided it is not aspected by Ketu or something like that, then it will give them very long life, very long life. And so he's still living. And I was surprised. I thought, like, because he seemed like from another era,
Yeah.
he's a designer from far out world. And the beauty, I mean, his stuff is like amazing. He's like gone into all kinds of, designs and, all sorts of like from perfumes to, I mean, you name it, and he's kind of he's with it. So now tell me where his Atmakaraka is. Can you see?
Rahu.
Yes, fantastic. Well done, you guys. So now if you see from the in the how many there's another another layer I'm going to add today. Okay, there is which is, if you have Rahu or wherever your Atmakaraka is, you have to see who the Karaka of that house is in the D1. So can somebody tell me what the Karaka is doing? What the Karaka is?
So it's the 10th house, you mean? It's got many karakas.
No,
No,
we
what are you
have
talking?
we are taking the principal karakas. We have done this. Who's the principal karaka for the 10th house? Okay, you know what?
Saturn.
Mercury.
It's not
Mercury.
Saturn.
Um, yes, Saturn and who said
Saturn.
Mercury?
Mercury.
Yes, good. Is that Liz?
Maria.
Oh, Maria, lovely,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So we will look at Mercury as a karaka for the 10th house. Now we will, for different things, look at Saturn as well, and for other variations we will bring in even Surya, but not at this stage. Okay, we will stick with, like, for the moment, Mercury and Saturn, but Mercury predominantly. And if you see, Mercury is his lagna lord. Can you see that? That's his
Yeah.
lagna lord. It's in a very good yoga with Sun and Mars. I mean, Mercury Mars is a little bit of a tough combination, but it is in a very strong, it's in the 11th house. It's a fantastic sort of superbly placed. And remember what I said, the sun is exalted. It is the karaka. It is the sun in the 11th house. Remember I said Surya in the 11th does very, very well. Remember I told you that? Yeah. Now, so you see, so the Saturn has given him a long life. The Mercury in the 11th house with Sun and Mars he's basically, kind of really, the 11th house is also sort of a house of profit and gains. And later we will see that how this is kind of, he has been able to earn a lot, all that. But right now, our focus here is the Ātmakāraka, and take the Ātmakāraka in the, as well as the Karaka now. So the Karaka is Mercury, but Mercury in his case is also the Lagna Lord. So if you take it to the D9 chart, can everybody see the D9? Yeah. Anybody who has problems, let me know. But if you see, Shani and Mercury is in Lagna. Now there is a dictum, like we haven't done some of the yogas, that when you have, remember we did this principle, when you have Shani in trines, Navamsha trines, then you are going to make beautiful things with your hands. You are very able. Remember that?
Yes.
Does anybody remember that?
Yes, yes.
So instantly we know that his ability is being seen. He was quite self-made, but his father helped him out. I think his father was in the tailoring business, and his father set up a studio with him, for him, and he invested and made it a big success. And eventually he sold and went to work for, I think, Christian Dior or something, or one of the big agents, where he produced his own designs and things like that. So you see that Saturn in Lagna it came naturally to him. He had this penchant, natural instinct for it. And obviously, I'm sure he's a very good communicator. He probably speaks quite a few languages, because Mercury is also in the Navamsha Lagna. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, where is the place, where is the Rahu placed in Navamsha?
4th house.
Yeah, and it's with the moon. And what is it aspected by?
Jupiter, Venus.
Yeah, and can you see what sign it is in, that Jupiter, Venus? And Ketu?
Capricorn.
Yeah. And Ketu is also the Karaka for small machines, needles, tailoring. Remember that? Anything sharp like laser surgery is Ketu domain. Needlework is Ketu. So all that it's with and Ketu is also with Venus and Jupiter. It's in Capricorn. And what house is it in the Navamsha chart?
In the 10th?
Yes, and remember what I said. What planets in D9 give you wealth? Serious amount of wealth.
The ones in the 10th?
Yes, if you have benefics in the 10th, remember that?
Yes,
Have you guys
sure.
forgotten? Everybody's sleeping
No,
or
no,
what?
no,
No,
we
no,
haven't.
no.
Okay, so remember, so benefics in the 10th house in D9 will give you amazing amount of wealth. Look
Yeah,
at that. Yeah, go on.
actually, I was going to ask you. Yes, I mean, especially I spotted Jupiter. I remember more Jupiter than benefic in the 10th house in Navamsha. But this Jupiter is debilitated. So that's why I was going to ask you about this Jupiter, because yeah, it's in the 10th house, but it's debilitated.
But that's
But
okay.
still okay. Yeah, because it's very rich. So obviously it's okay because it's very rich. Because I thought that if Jupiter is debilitated, probably you are not really getting so much money.
Yeah, but so is Shani debilitated.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
You see? Can you see
Yep.
that? Shani is also
Yeah, yeah.
debilitated. You see?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm.
But it doesn't
Mm.
matter because debilitated planets sometimes can land up giving you quite a bit of wealth in the D9 chart, because we are
Okay.
living in Kali Yuga. So sometimes
I see.
ironically they do
Mm.
give you wealth. And don't forget,
Mm.
Mercury is also Vargottama. Mercury is very strong.
Yep.
And you see that Rahu, there's another dictum which I want to now bring in. You have to see the Karaka. Karaka for where your Atmakaraka is. The Karaka is Mercury. Mercury is what? Not just the Lagna Lord, but what is it? It's Vargottama. Can you see that? Can you see everyone?
Can you repeat again the relationship between Karaka of the house where the Ātmakāraka is?
Okay.
Yes, the moon. Do you mean the moon?
No. Who's the where it go to D9? Okay, guys,
Okay.
Yeah,
don't worry.
D9.
It'll come. Go to D9. Go to D1. See, Rahu is
Okay.
Atmakaraka, right? Now,
Yes,
where
yes.
is Rahu placed? See that crown
10th
there?
house.
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
who's the Karaka for the 10th house?
So we said Mercury.
Correct. So
Yeah.
Mercury is the Karaka. It's also the Lagna Lord. And we always
Yes.
check 2-3 things are the most important planets in the D9. One is the D9 Lagna, what abilities, 10th house, all the Kendras in D9, and what is the Lagna Lord, what sign it is in, and where is the placement of the Atmakaraka in the D9. So there are many factors. D9, Navamsh is a very, very fine. There are many secrets in the Navamsh. This is what we are touching the tip of the iceberg here. Navamsh is a very complicated chart. People think, oh, it's just relationship and finished. It's not. It tells you about the immediate lifetimes karma coming from couple of previous lifetimes. It's very, very powerful. There are many intricate secrets of the Navamsh. So here, if you see that the D9 has got Ketu and Mercury, the Karaka, where the Atmakaraka is, it's in the Navamsh Lagna. Plus, it's Vargottama Mercury. Can everybody follow me what I'm trying to say?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
now
yes.
we do. Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Because the Karaka it has the power to make or break your fortune. It can destroy your fortune in a second if it is not well placed. So it is not about just, oh, I've got an exalted this and exalted that. That is all fine. And it's in the 10th house, fantastic. But where is the Karaka placed? If the Karaka is not going to support you, the god is not supporting you. So that is why you have to ensure that the karaka is well placed. And if it is not well placed, then you have to give, like, sort of remedy the karaka, the remedials and the mantra, or whatever the remedy you're prescribing, it will come for the karaka if it is not well placed. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody
Yes, yes.
follows me this. Yeah, this is a very important rule.
Yeah,
Extremely
thank you.
powerful. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you see, the Mercury is in Navamsh Lagna along with Saturn, and that's a huge Raj Yoga. Especially the Lagna Lord is Vargottama. And plus, if you see the Kendras from the Karakamsha, they are fantastic. Jupiter, Venus, it's with the moon, which is a second lord. That is another thing you see in the D9 chart. What is the placement of the second lord? Because remember, second lord in the D1 chart, in your natal chart, is the Hari Bhava. He will give you shower. He's the Vishnu. He will shower you with, provided you are truthful, provided you don't have malice and you're pure. And pure doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to be like, take shower 5 times a day. Not that kind of purity. It's a purity of speech, purity of the food that you consume, because that's all the second house. So his second house is, the Lord is moon. And of course, albeit moon is in the same house, but moon is also Vargottama, if you see. Can you guys see the moon Vargottama?
Yes, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the second Lord is very powerful. So there is already that support he has, in terms of his intentions and what he wants to build and things like that. So there's already, the Hari is supporting him, and the moon is in a Gaja Keshri. I mean, this is the
Yes.
great grand Gaja Keshri, moon and Jupiter, an exalted Brihaspati, exalted Guru with moon in Cancer. My God, that is solid Raj Yoga. So the second Lord with the Karakamsha is very, very powerful. We will also come and do more. So that is how you need to analyze. We will, as we go along, we will add more and more layer of complexity, because, like I said, it's quite easy if you know a certain basic rules, but you have to always remember to apply them. And you can only remember to apply once you do as many charts, analyze it, listen to some of the what is going on in the chart. The more charts you do, only then you will get the hang of it. Yeah. Is everybody okay with that?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions so far?
No, thank you.
Yes, Sonal, can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
So if the Ātmakāraka is in the 10th house in D1, but then is in D9, is in the 4th house, because there is this concept, isn't it, that where your Ātmakāraka is where you go, isn't it? It's a bit of your destiny, isn't it? So is it career, or then is in the 4th house in D9? How does it work? How does it work?
That is what we are going to start today a little bit.
Okay.
We will touch upon it, because you mean from the Karakamsha, you mean from the
Exactly.
Navamsha Lagna, right?
Exactly. Because if Rahu is in 10th house, then it's all about career, your purpose, your karma. But then in the 9 is in the 4th house. So what, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's like it's the opposite. It's the opposite direction. So
Yeah, it is the opposite direction, but the 4th house is a very, very strong house. Remember, it's one of the strongest kendras, in the D9. And when we go along, we will see, because
okay.
you also have to see a little bit. There are planets here in Digbal. If you see the Navamsha Lagna and how it is interacting with
I've got anything left to do at the moment, Leila?
Sorry. Hello, guys. Okay. So, so if you see that it's all the kendras are very, very strong in the D9, and not just that, the fourth house is a very delicate house in D9. But the thing is, Mercury is in Digbal in the D9 as well as Ketu. That's very, very strong, you see, in Digbal, because you won't see Digbala from the Karakamsha. You will see the Digbal in the Rashi chart, and you will see it in the D9 chart, or for that matter, other divisional charts, right? How strong the planet is. But you won't see it from a soul level. It doesn't care how much money you're making and all that, because the soul path is totally different. You know, its gati is totally otherworldly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
So we will come to one by one what is what are the yogas created if you have it's in the fourth house or whichever house from the Navamsha lagna, which is what I began with, that we will be doing that. Anyway,
All
let's
right.
move forward. Okay, anybody know about this designer?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
um, Christian Dior, estimated net worth 10 million, company of the same name, however, worth estimated 35 billion. So basically, Dior is a household name, and you can see him here. During the final phase, sorry, I think this is Valentino. I think I've got the image mixed up. I think this is Valentino. Sorry, guys. But this is all Dior's designs. But the thing about Dior is that um, over time, I mean, look at his dresses, and they're so beautiful and flowing and flamboyant and opulent, and so that is what he's known for. So which is remarkably different from like Chanel, which is like much more straightforward lines and very sort of kind of pants and very neutral colors, black, white, and grays, and that sort of a thing. So a far cry from, I mean, this is like completely different. So anyway, let's see his chart. Does anybody want to have a look at where his Ātmakāraka is?
11th house.
Sorry?
In the 11th house.
No.
Oh, no.
Pitri Karaka, that's Rahu there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Not all Ātmakārakas are Rahu.
We were still on
Is in the
Rahu.
is in the sixth house.
Yes.
The sixth house with
See,
Jupiter.
trick questions, I'm asking you guys.
Mm.
Okay, yes, it is in the sixth house, indeed. And tell me more about his, now for a Libra Lagna, Jupiter. Now there is another dictum. You would think for a Libra Lagna, Jupiter is, because it's like a functional malefic, because it's kind of rules the terrible, Dushtana, the sixth house. So one would assume that it is not a very nice house, and plus it rules the Trishadaya house, the third house, right?
Two
Which
bad
is,
houses, yes.
yeah, which is a bit of an evil house. Now, but the thing is, remember my dictum when we did the sixth house. What did I say? There are three sattvic, the sattvic grahas in the sixth house do brilliantly.
Yeah,
Remember,
okay.
I
Yeah.
told you that? Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
they have the power to absolutely, and they will destroy the enemies, destroy the obstacles, but they will do it in a very sattvic way. They won't go fighting and killing and that kind of a thing, because sixth house is the house of conflict and enemies and stuff like that. So Jupiter is see what degree is it in? Look at this karma. This is I think Sharat's
Quite high.
yeah, Sharat's No question. He's always into looking at the degrees. So it's 29.54 degrees.
Yeah.
Um, so you see, and that is at the Gandanta, anything in the end of
Yes, true.
Pisces in Revati nakshatra, and then going just into Ashwini nakshatra, because it's going, Gandanta means like it's like a bridge crossing over, you know, it's heavy karmic issues are rife, and the Gandanta is like a knot. So when the Rave from Revati nakshatra in Pisces is going into Ashwini in Aries, it's like a bridge from water to from Jala to fire, you know, 0 degrees Aries. That's very, very acute Gandanta. And that is a lot of sorrow there too. So he did have problems, I think, you know, growing up. And if you see, his Jupiter is Vargotama as well, because those degrees are Vargotama in late Pisces and early Ashwini, which is 0 to 2 degrees Ashwini in Aries. So here we see that Jupiter is in the 3rd house. That is absolutely brilliant. 3rd house from the Navamsha lagna, right? Now, even though Jupiter is in Marana, right? Remember I said
Yes.
Jupiter is
Yeah.
in Marana, but it is still auspicious to have Jupiter Vargotama is very strong. So you see, the trouble with Marana Jupiter in D9 is, as an Atmakaraka, you don't want, ideally, you don't want the Atmakaraka to be, if it is really strong, you don't want it in Marana. So what happens if the Atmakaraka, or rather the Karakamsha, is in Marana? Your path becomes very challenging, your spiritual path. So guess what? Obviously, Christian Dior is not known for his, you know, spirituality, is he?
Mm.
He's known for his wealth, right?
Mm.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, who's the Karaka? Can you see the Karaka for his Ātmakāraka in the Rashi chart? Can somebody tell me who's the Karaka for that house? There are 2 Karakas, and
Yeah.
we will
Saturn.
examine both of them.
Yeah, Saturn and Mars.
Exacto. And where is Saturn and where is Mars?
The 4 one, and the other one is is in lagna. One is in lagna actually,
Yes. So they
and
are
the other
very,
one is in the 4. So
yeah,
they are
and
in Kendra. So they are in
absolutely.
Kendra.
And it is in its own sign. Shani is in its
Yeah.
own sign,
Oh
creating
yes.
creating a Sasa Mahapurush yoga.
I see.
And
Yes.
not just that, Margarita, have a look at the D9 chart. Tell me where Shani and Mars is placed. What a fantastic placement of Mars and Shani in the from Navamsha Lagna.
Yeah, one is
Superb.
in 9. One is in the 9 house, and the other one is in, actually one is Vargotama. Mars is Vargotama.
No, Mars is not Vargotama, Margarita.
Ah, no, it's not. No, it's in the same house.
It's
Sorry.
Bhava. It's Bhava Vargotama. That
Baba.
means
Baba Vargotama.
yeah.
Yeah.
That means it is in the same house in both Navamsha and
Is it? And it's different. Is it different?
yeah, it's an exalted Mars. Is everybody
Mm.
following me this?
Oh yeah, it's
Yes.
exalted. Yes, of course, it's exalted Mars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where is Shani? Shani is in trines with Rahu in the 9th house. Many heads. There's always like many
Yes.
businesses, many heads, many things to
Mm.
handle, you know, superb.
Mm.
And Shani is fantastic in the 9th house. Absolutely superb, you know, in because it's gives you the ability of making things by hand, a lot like the last chart we saw. The last chart we saw. Oops, sorry. Valentino's, he also had Shani in Lagna, you see. So
Oh, yes.
do you see that this is fantastic that he has Shani? So he has a great ability to be able to learn and make things with his hand, cutting and fabric, embroidery and all that. So he would have know the ropes of design and things like that, because you have to use your hands ultimately, and your head, because the
Yes. Oh,
designs come from
yes.
the head.
Ideas, lot of
Yeah,
ideas.
the
Well,
ideas.
Rahu is also creativity.
Absolutely. And
Extreme geniality, kind of geniality in
perfecto,
creativity.
perfecto. Yeah. And Rahu is in its own Mool Trikon in the D9.
Oh, yes.
So you see, and Jupiter and Ketu is the Moksha Karaka. It is with Jupiter. That is fantastic. So he'll start a trend. He'll start a parampara. And Surya and Jupiter together, Surya and Guru, both together is a fantastic yoga. If you see in the D9, that's a Gopala yoga. He will create major, he will help people. He will create major centers, just not spiritual ones, because Jupiter is in MKS. If it wasn't in MKS, he would have created beautiful temples and that sort of a thing with his wealth. So his design and his, fashion empire is his temple. Yeah.
Which is very interesting because it's using Maranasthana, so it still gives, but it's more of a materialistic aspect of Jupiter, but it still gives good result. Because when you think that, Jupiter in Maranasthana, maybe, is useless, but, it's not useless for some things. It's still Jupiter.
Yeah, but you are not seeing Jupiter as, oh, it's in MKS. You're seeing Karakamsha, you're seeing Ātmakāraka. It's 1,000 blazing suns there. It's not an ordinary graha. It's your
Jupiter, yeah.
Ātmakāraka. And Jupiter is Vargotama. It's very, very strong,
Yes, yeah.
And if you see a little bit of Shadbala, it's fairly strong here in the strength, in the Shadbal, And look at Mars. Mars and Moon are a force of nature there. You see
Oh,
that?
really?
Yeah, look. Moon and
Well,
Mars are.
but the moon is in the 10th house.
Yeah, I mean, it
The
is in the 10th house, but yet it is quite strong, and it is in the MKS. And Moon is in the zero Digbal in the Rashi chart.
yeah.
But the thing is, is the 10th Lord in the 10th, you see, in the Rashi chart.
I see.
That's
So
very,
he
very
compensated
powerful.
it.
Yeah.
So he compensate. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 10th Lord in the 10th. It's very powerful. And also, it's in Graha Drishti from Jupiter. So that
Yep.
helps to alleviate it.
Yes.
It, yeah, I mean, he would have made some losses at some point because of that moon in zero Digbal. But, and so is Surya in zero Digbal. That is also a
Oh,
problem.
yes. Yeah.
So you see, zero Digbal planets will always give you problems some way or the other in some shape or form. So I'm sure he would
Maybe
have,
in the private life, we don't know
yeah,
much about his private life, probably. This Surya.
yeah.
And then professional life, I don't know, maybe some relationship with
And not,
females. Don't
yeah,
know.
and not just that, that if you see, he's also got the Sarpa Yoga. Remember, I talked about the Sarpa Yoga. Anyway, we will be doing yogas over the next few sessions. We have loads of time to do Sarpa Yoga, or I mean, all sorts of yogas, because that's, we will start something, on yogas and curses. So, anyway, let's carry on we'll do one dictum, of the Ātmakāraka from all the from the Navamsha lagna, and then we will end for today. So Gemini has indicated the results of various Navamsh for the placement of Ātmakāraka in different houses from Lagnamsha. We all know Lagnamsha is also called Navamsha Lagna. So count the number of signs from AK, which is Ātmakāraka, to the Navamsh Lagna, and the number shall indicate the results of the house that shall predominate. Check the strength of Karaka for such a house and do this exercise for both in Rashi and Navamsh chart. Okay. So, for example, if we do the first one, okay, let's say the Ātmakāraka is in the first bhava. Okay. That means in the Navamsh, it is in the Navamsh from the Navamsh Lagna, it is 1. That means it is in the Navamsh Lagna. It's in the Lagnamsha. That's what it means by in the being in the first house from the Lagnamsha. Okay. So nobility and birth in a royal family is the result. Ātmakāraka is in the Navamsh Lagna, the first house. High achievements and position likened. Please note, likened, akin to those of the king, of a king, can result if the lord of the Navamsh Lagna conjoins the AK, even if the native is born in humble conditions. So this is a very important dictum. This is the very first one we are tackling here. If, on the other hand, the AK aspects the Navamsh Lagna, then the native enjoys royalty from birth. So there are two variations. Now, please, we have to do a lot of charts to arrive at this. There is no clear rule, as in sometimes you may not be born royal, but if you have the Karakamsha in the Navamsh Lagna, then it's like you may have some connection to royalty in your lineage, or alternatively, you would actually be achievement oriented, and your position, through your position, you will have the benefits of a king, of a Raj Yoga. Okay. So that's what it literally means. And the strength of Raj Yogas also depends on the strength, position, associations of the sun, who's a Karaka of the first house. So we also have to see the Karaka in the D9 as well as the D1. The royal association shall be present from birth. The natural Karaka of the first house sun should be strong to indicate the extent of Raj Yoga. Okay. So that is a very, very important dictum. So let's do an example chart. Okay. Is anybody familiar with Margaret Mead?
She's an anthropologist.
Yes. And she
Yeah.
was
Yes,
instrumental.
yeah.
The word
She was an
anthropology.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
think I
was
read
the
something.
key person on the planet to
Yeah.
absolutely study as a subject human, all kinds of human ways of living, the way people live, eat, different cultures.
Yeah.
And the whole of the subject of anthropology gained, as in came into existence because of her. So she has been like a pioneer of anthropological studies. And if you see her chart, absolutely brilliant woman, so much research at far-flung places in Southeast Asia to Africa and everywhere. And if you see her chart, she's Sagittarius Lagna, and the Atmakaraka is Jupiter in Lagna. Please note. So if you have, let's say, Jupiter in Lagna.
Wow.
I know. Wow. Exactly.
Is also a year because he's in a 9th house.
It's in the what? Sorry.
Is in Sagittarius. So it's now a Hamsa Purusha Yoga as well.
Yes.
So it's everything that Jupiter.
I know. And the Karaka. So, okay, let's say let's say if Jupiter was in Lagna, okay, she's got beautiful Hamsa, Mahapurush yoga, everything wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's say if Sun would have been in the 8th house, because the Karaka for the Lagna, remember the dictum, we've just gone through the dictum here. You have to see the Sun should be strong to indicate the extent of Raj Yoga. Remember that? Remember the Karaka. What did I say? The Karaka needs to be very strong. We have to check the Karaka. So for Jupiter is the Ātmakāraka and it is in Lagna. So we can predict fantastic things, but provided Sun is very well placed. And in her case, it is very well placed, if you see.
Yeah, because the sun is in a friendly sign, yeah?
Yes.
Mhm.
No, the Sun is in Lagna.
Yeah, apart from that, it is in Sagittarius as well. So it's a friendly sign,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, and yeah, so that is, but Sun in Lagna is a very, very powerful position to have, you know, because it is a Karaka in its own house, you know, because the first house, who's the Karaka, guys? Come on. We all know the Sun is a Karaka for
I
those,
think I got
right?
first house.
Yes,
Sun,
exactly.
yes. I get always confused with Jupiter. So I always get confused with, you know, the first house and the 10th house. You know, when I never got them clear. So for the first house is Sun.
Yes.
Jupiter doesn't have any, no, it's the second house.
Yeah.
So it's not Jupiter as well, Karaka, the first house.
No,
both.
the first house we've done the Karakas. Remember, does anyone have problems with the Karakas? Shall I float a
Yeah, I
list
got
on the group?
confused. I get confused.
Yeah, you know, there
Yes,
was a
please.
mistake
Yes,
somewhere,
please.
and
I get
now
always
there is confusion.
confused.
Yeah, but actually, according to the list which was there in one of the videos, the Karakas are Sun and Mars for the first house.
No. It would have been a chart. I don't think it's Mars. That must have been a mistype.
No, Mars.
It would have been a mistypo. Sorry.
Okay, and as for the 10th house, the Karakas are Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter as well. There are four of them.
Yes, there are 4
Okay.
Karakas. That's correct. But mostly we
Which
take
is the May one?
Mercury. We take Mercury for the 10th.
Mercury. I see.
And the second
Okay.
one we take is Shani. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you see in this chart, we definitely need to see the Sun. So the Sun is extremely powerful position. And then we take it to the Navamsha chart.
Yeah.
And Jupiter is again in the same, it's in the Lagna, Navamsha Lagna. So of course she had a massive, she was a pioneer in anthropology.
Very strong.
Very strong. And if you see, the lord of
Yes.
the Navamsha Lagna is in Lagna. See, Mars.
Yes,
Can
yes,
somebody
yes,
see
yes,
Mars
yes.
here in the Scorpio? Navamsha Lagna is Scorpio, and so her bulk of her work was all about research, deep research about other
Research,
people's
Scorpio, yes.
cultures. Yeah. I mean, she wasn't like, you know, and Americans, where we feel that, oh my God, they won't look beyond their territory. You know, typically that's the image we have. But she broke the mold, broke that stereotype. And because of her, you know, all sorts of social sciences and humanities and, you know, anthropology, all of that came into existence, you know, the study of far-flung cultures and their impact on societies and things like that. So she was like a phenomenal leading pioneer light in her field. So you see, that is a very, very strong one when you have the Navamsha Lagna and the Karakamsha, that is the Ātmakāraka in the Navamsha Lagna. You will have worldwide fame and lasting fame. It's not going to disappear. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do one more chart and then we'll finish. Okay. Does everybody know her?
Yeah.
Priyanka Chopra, right? She's like one of the leading actresses, and for a brown skinned woman to get into mainstream Hollywood and mainstream sort of television, it's quite an achievement. And she's even married Nick Jonas, and they both are actors in their own right. I mean, she is phenomenal. You know, she's done what most people, I mean, we know of a few people, handful of women like Salma Hayek and all that, but she's like taken off, you know, like she's like phenomenal in terms of her achievement. In the current times, in the whole entertainment business. So if you see, the lagna is Aries lagna, and Mars is the Ātmakāraka, and it is in the 6th house. As everybody can see this,
6.
Yes.
yeah, 6th house,
Yeah.
and it is with
Yes.
Amatya. Shani is the Ātmakāraka. So you see any
Yeah,
association?
both Karaka are in the house.
Yes. And Mars and Shani, both Amatya and Ātmakāraka in the 6th house is fantastic. You know, because any association of Ātmakāraka with Amatyakāraka is another Raj Yoga. There are many Raj Yogas. We will study it as and when slowly, okay? But just bear in mind that this is a very important thing. That, and who's the Karaka for the 6th house?
Yeah. Saturn and Mars.
Yes. And Mars is, can somebody tell me where her Mars is?
Where, in the D1 or the Mars is in the 6?
Yes, no,
In the D1.
in the D9.
D9 is in the 12.
Yes, but
In the
it is,
12.
what sign is it in?
This, Virgo, the same sign as in the one.
In Virgo. So
Yes,
it's Vargotama.
So Vargotama.
exactly. So is she tough or what? Physically tough?
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Her series, the American super series that she became absolutely a star for is Quantico, which is like, you know, and she plays as policewoman. Hey, strong, hey? Aries, Lagna, Mars, Vargotama.
Yes, very strong.
She is strong. And look at the second lord is exalted. And second lord, sorry, second house has got a
Exalted moon.
yeah, exalted moon. That's superb.
So does it give also, because, you know, something that I'm a little bit confused, because Lagna is also about your appearance, but the second house is the face. And if the moon is exalted, doesn't mean that, you know, this person is very beautiful like she is.
We will come to that. That will be the characteristics of beauty
Okay.
will be given by the Navamsha Lagna. And tell somebody, please
Okay.
analyze, tell me what is happening with her Navamsha Lagna. Can somebody want to have a jab at it? Where's her Navamsha Lagna?
Oh, she has Venus in Libra in D9, isn't it?
Yes,
Venus in Libra in Lagna.
absolutely.
So she's
Yeah, so she's beautiful.
beautiful and feminine and all of
Exactly.
Venus.
And superb. And what did I tell you? Always analyze the second lord in the D1 and bring it to D9 and see where it is placed. What did I tell you? So
Yeah.
that, because
So
seventh
it's Venus.
house, yeah,
So it's-
Venus, and Venus rules her 7th house, and Venus rules her 2nd house, and that
Yes.
is in its own sign, super
Yeah.
strong in Navamsha Lagna. No wonder it's like worldwide. And not just that, you see, 7th house is a house of entertainment as well,
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
relationships, you see.
So
He's done
You have
phenomenal.
also to see do you have to see the nakshatra where Venus, where the nakshatra where Venus is most important, as we are doing nakshatra. So I don't know in which nakshatra is Venus. Could be 7 Swati. I don't know. I don't see the
No,
degrees.
Venus is not in Swati. It's in Venus. In the Navamsha, you don't see the nakshatras. You see the nakshatras only in the Rashi chart.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the
Okay.
moon, if you
Okay.
see, the moon is in the nakshatra of Rohini. Okay. Can you see
Mm,
that? It's in
mm,
nakshatra of Rohini. And the moon is very well placed in the 9th house in D9 chart. Very, very well placed. So she must have trained for some music. She also, I think, sings, uses a lot of her voice. Remember what I said? The natural abilities come from your Navamsha trines. Remember that?
yes. We see what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the moon is there.
Yes. And Venus is in Lagna. That's a natural beauty, natural
Yeah.
photography. And, whether if she wouldn't have been like an actress and then, in front of the camera, she would have been probably behind the camera. If, either or. In fact, I think she does do photography and directorship. I think she has getting into direction of films now in Hollywood. I'm not sure, but that's what I heard. So she's got her finger in many, many pies. And she was like voted as the top 100 most powerful women on the planet by Times Magazine. Or was it Forbes magazine? I forget which, but one of them, Forbes or Time, one of them. But she was like the top 100 women, most powerful people on the influential people on the planet. So you see, that's pretty great going for her. So you see,
But Sonal, can I ask just a question?
yeah,
But I understand that Mars is Ātmakāraka is strong, is Vargotama, but both houses are a bit weak, isn't it? Weak in terms of normally we would say that 10th house and 4th house and 7th house very strong for popularity, for power, for doing leadership. But 6th house and 12th house are a bit weak in that sense. But still, she's got that.
but
You know what I mean?
house, see, no, it's not weak at all. Sixth
No.
house is very strong. What do you mean weak? Why is it?
When I say weak is as professionally or to have success in life, you will probably look into lagna, 10th house, 7th house, 4th house, and not 6th and 12th house to have a huge, great success in life. You know what I mean?
Because okay, here there are many things we look for. First is that the lord of the 10th house, right? If you see a lord of the 10th house,
Okay.
Saturn is Ātmakāraka, and it is in the 6th house with the Ātmakāraka and the lagna lord. Okay, so
Okay.
that there is again a dictum when you have the Ātmakāraka and the Ātmakāraka both coming together, and if the 10th lord gets involved, which in her case it's a massive Raj Yoga. Okay, so we haven't, like I said, yogas is a big topic, huge. It will carry on as so. Yeah, so the yogas is a very big topic.
Okay.
And plus, another thing, Maria, it gives us, when the lagna lord is in the 6th house, it is called the Dhimanta yoga. It's I've covered this before, or
Yes, you said that he gives people that are brilliant, extremely intelligent.
Thank you.
And all of that. Yes.
Thank you for remembering.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well done, all of you. So yeah, so absolutely. So that is true. So anyway, we may have to stop. Do you guys have any questions?
No,
So now,
I'll see you later.
Sorry.
am I still on time to join the lecture? Because I haven't had the time to book it. So am I still on time?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I'm still in time. I'm still in time to now to book it because I haven't done it yet for the nakshatra.
Yeah. Book it, of
Yeah, I'm
course.
still in time. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway,
So I see you later.
any further questions, guys?
No, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I'm going to